If you like collecting tanks, there is an amazing deal in the store right now where you can actually get the Tankenstein for a very reasonable price. You can see here if we go into the store and scroll around a bit, we eventually come across this bundle right here, in which we can actually get the Tankenstein, some bats to fly above a tank, some XP multipliers, an avatar, and a few other interesting items. And the cool part is it's just 2,500 gold, which is, in my opinion, a very reasonable price for this bundle. However, one thing to note, if you are looking for a tank with some decent stats to get your win rate up, and generally to farm credits, this is probably not the bundle for you, as the Tankenstein just isn't much of a performer. However, if you do like to collect tanks and you don't have this one, this is probably the time to try and get this tank. And now for fun, I'm going to go play a quick Uprising game so you can kind of see this tank in action. Now, as you can see, this is an Uprising game, so this isn't really an in-depth review per se. This is more just me having fun and then talking about the characteristics of the tank. Now, just to reiterate what I said earlier, this isn't the best tank when it comes to performance or statistics. It's very mediocre just in general. Again, great for collecting and maybe for messing around in a few battles, but not for really trying to grind any kind of stats. That said, let me now go ahead and talk about the quirky characteristics about the tank. First of all, what's good about it? A few things, actually, oddly enough. I was a little bit surprised that there was anything good, but there were a few things. First of all, the forward speed. It is not a super fast tank by any means. However, for a heavy and the tier that it's in, I was actually kind of shocked at the speed that I was able to get out of it. It was definitely mobile enough for me to be able to get into a position so long as I was driving in a straight line. More on that in a few seconds. Now, another thing that was good about the tank was the alpha damage. It's not a huge gun that hits like a truck, but it does definitely do enough damage, frequently enough, to be a little bit entertaining in certain scenarios. As well, the turret traverse I found was actually surprisingly good. I guess I should have expected it. It's basically on a Tiger P chassis, so having a quick turret traverse kind of makes sense. However, the good turret traverse is kind of made up for by absolutely terrible hull traverse. So even though your turret can turn around really quick, just in general, the tank turning around is kind of slow. Actually, kind of slow is a bit of an understatement. It's really bad. And it's just not very great for turning around, which is why really you just want to keep this tank going in a straight line if possible and turning your turret only to the enemy. So it's not a very quick tank to turn around, which makes it kind of susceptible to getting flanked. Now, the armor on this tank is 50-50. It's kind of okay in areas and then kind of not okay in others. I find that occasionally I can get a shell to bounce off of me, particularly from lower tier tanks. But in general, as long as the enemy is running a PCR, even if they are in a tier 6, they're probably going to be able to penetrate you in some location, no matter how easy or difficult it may be. So it's not really a great tank for just tanking shots, but it can, in certain scenarios, tank a few shots. Now let me talk about the look of the tank, because it's, as you can probably tell, a very bizarre and awkward one at that. Basically, from what I understand, it's mostly a mix between a Tiger P's chassis and I believe it's a KV4's turret or something like that. So you've got this very big, awkward turret on a very weird body for the most part. I mean, the Tiger P is kind of a long, awkward tank to play already, but then you slap that giant, weird turret on top and it just becomes a very weird experience, to say the least. Now, in this particular game, I guess I do okay. I don't do any insane numbers of damage, but I'm also not in a super high tier tank either. It was just kind of a fun tank, and of all of the games that I played in this one was actually the best. So you can see in the very end here that it's just not the most amazing tank on the planet. It's just, again, something that you want to play around and have a little bit of fun with. And funny thing is that in the very end of this game, I don't know if you saw this, but the KV2 on my team was absolutely AFK. And when the end of the game finally did come, you can see he just, for some reason, goes and suicides. My guess is this is that game mechanic where the AFK person will just magically kill themselves. So it's kind of funny. But anyway, that's all I have for the Tankenstein right now. Hope you all enjoyed, and as always, have fun, good luck, and happy tanking.